The Senator Bob Menendez bribery case is halfway through closing arguments. The prosecution started this morning's arguments by saying again and again to the jury, use your common sense when coming to a decision. Courtroom observers are saying the government is making a compelling case that Senator Menendez, in essence, acted as his friend and co-defendant's personal U.S. Senator by accepting gifts and campaign contributions in exchange for helping Dr. Solomon Melgen obtain visas. He intervened in a port dispute and a $9 million Medicare dispute. Next, the defense for Dr. Solomon Melgen started their closing arguments and said, your job as a jury is to look for the truth and apply the law. There has been no crime committed. Otherwise, the prosecution would have called a witness to talk about the crime, and they didn't. Dr. Melgen didn't get anything. He didn't get the port contract dispute resolved or the Medicare dispute resolved. During a break, I spoke to Senator Bob Menendez and asked how he was doing 9 weeks into the trial, and he simply said, I pray to God.
It is that faith that has sustained me here for the last 8-9 weeks. It is that faith that I believe will ultimately render a verdict of not guilty.
One of the key issues the jury must decide is if the evidence proves bribery. Now, the judge has said the prosecution must establish a quid pro quo or a this for that. Closing arguments will resume on Monday. In Newark, I'm Laura Jones for Chasing News.
Thanks, Laura. All right, let's bring in an expert. Former Morris County Prosecutor Bob Bianchi joins me. So let's break this down. What happens? Closing arguments, goes to a jury. What do you think?
Well, I think that there's going to be a tough battle that's going to go on here about the definition of what a bribe is, especially after the recent Supreme Court decisions. And the judge did a very good job at instructing the jury. And it's just going to be a simple fact is, was this a quid pro quo, or was this being given as part of a friendship? The government did a very good job putting on its case, and the defense did a good job defending it. It's up to the jury now.
Yeah, but cut into it a little more. Somebody must have done a better job. You've been doing this a long time. You're a prosecutor. Who did a better job, in your opinion, if you're looking at this and you had to make the call?
You know, I know that people like to pigeonhole that, but I could be honest with you, I thought this was a really well done two-sided fight. Many times I don't see that. Many times I see that the prosecutors are doing a much better job than the defense. There was a copious amount of data for the prosecution to present to this jury, which makes it very difficult to choose and pick in a limited period of time what they're going to present. They did a fine job doing that. And the defense put a case on, which very rarely happens, and they put on some pretty powerful...
Does it matter that they upset the judge? That whole call for dismissal, it seemed that the judge, barked back at them. Matter or just routine?
No, this is routine. I mean, it's a standard thing. The judge is a little salty old timer. He's a good judge. They're aggressive lawyers. They do what every lawyer does at the end of the case to try to get it dismissed before it goes to the jury. It's a very hard standard for the defense to succeed at. But you have to make that motion as a defense attorney in order to preserve your client's rights. All
right, listen, if you put money on it in the Vegas line, who's in favor? Acquittal or conviction?
I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be, in my mind, a hung jury, which means they don't get all 12 jurors to say guilty.
Wow. All right. We'll see. We'll check back in when it happens. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
You got it.
Let's bring back the A-plus panel. Jeanette, Bill, what do you think? You're looking at a conviction. Either way, is he a senator in 2018?
We don't know yet. We'll see. But let me throw out a name to you if he decides not to run. Chelsea Handler. She's been all over the state right now campaigning
Chelsea Handler for the U.S.
Phil Murphy
Senate.
for the governor, and she lives here in New Jersey.
Do you think there's anybody less qualified than Chelsea Handler? That's like a race to the bottom.
Yeah, this woman wrote a book about her love affair with vodka, Bill. Not exactly one of the greatest political minds of our time.
We love our celebrities, though, in political office, don't we?
Well, we'll see. She can certainly raise some money, right?
Amen.
Is that it? But either way, I can't imagine that this puts the Democrats in a good light coming into this election 2018.
We will see.
I think the Democrats are in trouble.
All right. Thanks, guys. Jeanette, thank you. Bill,
Thanks,
good to
Bill.
see you. Great.